Algebra 1, Arkansas Framework. Write an equation in slope-intercept, point-slope, and standard forms given the following. We're going to focus on standard form from 2 points today. Things you need to know. Slope formula is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. That means the change in y over the change in x. We represent that with m. M represents slope. Point slope form. Y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. And the standard form is ax plus by is equal to c. Step 1 is for us to find the slope. Before we can do that, we need to label our ordered pairs. So this is x sub 1, y sub 1. These subscripts simply tell me which ordered pair that particular value originated from. X sub 2, y sub 2. The formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I'll plug in. Y sub 2 is 8. Minus y sub 1, which is 2. Over x sub 2, which is 4. Minus x sub 1, which is 1. I'll subtract. I have 6 over 3. That simplifies to 2 over 1, or 2. So I now know that my slope is 2. I'm going to use that slope in point slope form. Now let's remember that our slope was 2 because I'm going to put this in point slope form to begin with. Point slope form says y minus y sub 1. Well, remember, this was x sub 1, this was y sub 1, this was x sub 2 and y sub 2. We won't use those anymore. So I want y minus y sub 1, which was 2, equals m, which was also 2, times x minus x sub 1, which was 1. This y and this x do not get replaced. You'll see that they show up here in this formula. Now I want to simplify this formula. My job now is to rearrange it so that it's in this order. To do that, I'm going to use the distributive property. So I have y minus 2 equals 2x minus 2. Now my goal is to get the variables on the left side, the constants on the right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2x from each side. Now there's nothing on the left hand side that 2x can combine with. So I'll have negative 2x plus y minus 2 equals negative 2. Now I want to get rid of this. I don't want the numbers or the constants over here. I want them all to be on this side. So I'm going to add 2 to each side, so this will go away. And when I do that, my resulting equation is negative 2x plus y, which I know could be written as 1y, equals 0. These two canceled out. So this is the standard form. This is the standard form of that equation. Let's look at the next example. Find the equation of a standard form that passes through these points. And we're going to first label x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. And then we're going to put it in the slope formula. The slope formula says y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So here we go. Y sub 2 is negative 5 minus y sub 1, which is 9, over x sub 2, which is 5, minus x sub 1, which is negative 2. When I put the negative 2 here, it's going to make it positive 2. So I'll simplify, and I'll have negative 5 minus 9, which is negative 14, over 5 plus 2, which is 7. Continue to simplify, and we will have negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. So my slope, which is represented by m, is negative. We'll go to the next page. Remember, our slope was negative 2, and we only use x1, y1 in point slope form. So let's begin point slope form. Y minus y sub 1, which is 9, is equal to m, which I found was negative 2, times x minus x sub 1. Now when I take the negative 2 and put it in the equation, again it's going to be plus 2. At this point, I want to rearrange it so that it is in standard form. So I'm going to start by using the distributive property. Y minus 9 is equal to negative 2x minus 4. To continue rearranging, I'm going to move the x part so that it's on the same side with the y part. Again, there are no like terms here, so I'm going to have 2x plus y minus 9 equals negative 4. Now I'm going to add 9 to each side so that my constants are all together. So my final form, my standard form, is 2x plus y equals 5. This is the standard form of the equation of a line that passes through those 2 points. Let's look at the third example. Find the equation of a line in standard form that passes through these points. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label these x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. And I'm going to put them in the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I will have 9 minus negative 6. Again, that's going to make it plus 6 over x sub 2, which is 0, minus negative 3. When I put the negative 3 behind this subtraction sign, it's going to make it plus 3. So my slope is 15 over 3. That simplifies to 5 over 1, which is 5. So I have found my slope is 5. Now after finding the slope, I'll use point slope form. Remember that m is 5 and that I need x sub 1 and y sub 1 only. So my equation for point slope, y minus negative 6, so that's going to be y plus 6, is equal to m times x minus negative 3, which is going to be plus 3. So y plus 6 is equal to 5x plus 15. I'm going to subtract 5x from each side because I want this arranged in standard form. So I'm going to have negative 5x plus y plus 6 is equal to 15. Then I'm going to subtract 6 from each side. Negative 5x plus y equals 9. I have it in standard form. I have the x term, the y term, the equal sign, and the constant.